Yo, how's it going? So, one of the fights this year I've been really excited for is Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Now, who I got personally, I got Davis. I'm not gonna lie. Bro has better head movement, I feel like you're Ryan Garcia has that speed in a hook, but he lacks head movement just because of what I saw with I think he got knocked down by a British dude. I can't remember his name. But yeah, I remember he got knocked down by that guy, and I was just like, if Tank can catch him with one of those like uppercuts while he's like kind of standing straight up, I feel like he might. But unless like, because I think Ryan Garcia is actually like has more of a reach on him. If Ryan can just kind of keep him at bay with a jab and a solid jab, I think he could coast all the way out to a unanimous decision, or he could either like check hook him, maybe like or quick check hook, set him up for a hook because that hook is crazy too. That hook is devastating. But yeah, definitely. So I'm really excited just to see who can put their chess pieces in the right position, or who can put themselves in the right position for them to land either the uppercut or the hook. Um, so yeah, definitely excited for this fight. Yeah, but nothing's better than watching a little bit of a countdown, like one of those like promos, and I got one here by Guerrilla Productions, who I always love
Since
to
its
watch.
economic boom in the 1950s, the Sin City of Las Vegas has long been considered the glamorous home of entertainment. And one sport in particular has captured the synergy between the human thirst for risk, reward, and violence.
Oh, God. That Tommy Hearns, man.
It is for this
Hitman
reason
for a
that
reason.
boxing is often synonymized with the glitz and glamour that only America can provide, and why some of the biggest events in the sport's history have taken place there specifically.
Oh, I love this fight. The war between Hagler and Hearns, bro. That shit was like
Recent years,
action-packed.
however, have brought a scarcity of high-profile matchups between two US superstars. An increasingly fragmented landscape with multiple promoters and TV networks means that rarely are two noteworthy participants willing to share the grand stage together.
That's the problem with boxing,
But
though.
this April, at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, one superstar pairing is set to finally break that trend and treat American fight fans to
I'm
the
excited,
most
man. I'm
anticipated
excited. I'm not
domestic
gonna
fight
lie.
of 2023.
This boy is
Gervonta
crazy.
Tank Davis, already a multiple world champion, brings with him a stellar reputation as one of the most supreme boxer punchers in the game.
Definitely.
And Ryan Garcia, the
Get
social
that hook,
media
bro.
sensation
It's that
known
hook.
for his matinee idol looks. Blinding hand speed with pinpoint accuracy, the young Californian seems to be only scratching the surface of his true potential.
Yeah, look at that shit. I'm telling you, man. That hook is crazy by this guy. It's super fast and it's accurate. And so, like, is Tank Davis' head movement fast enough to counter that hook is my question too. Like, we'll see.
And in this edition, we recap the journeys of two fighters who, despite their similarities, have vowed to settle their disagreements in the ring.
Why is that fight against Tank Davis so important to you? Because that's gonna give me the respect I deserve. If he wants it, let's get it.
Both with a burgeoning fan base to create a fight which, in the current climate, the sport desperately needs. And one in which the outcome will forever become synonymized with the remainder of their careers. Welcome to the Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia countdown.
Let's go.
The turn of the new decade brought with it a hotbed of fresh young talent. And one area in particular, the lightweight division, saw a spurt in supernaturally gifted fighters ready to set the sport alight.
When they be doing all that,
Ooh, also,
you know what time it is.
Also, Haney versus Lomachenko is going to be a barn burner itself too. Lomachenko, man, it takes him a little while nowadays to get started and really like break down his opponent, while Haney is just always on. He's always like, as soon as he gets in the ring, it's like he's dominating. It's like, bruh, come on. That jab, like, this dude is crazy too. I can't wait for that fight.
Initially, it was ruled by the electrifying Vasily Lomachenko,
Yep.
who, with an extraordinary amateur background, thrilled audiences with wizardry never before seen in the ring.
I mean, they've seen it before back in the 80s by
But when his reign collapsed at the hands
Carlos
of an
something.
ambitious upstart in Teofimo Lopez, the division changed hands in quick succession, going through 3 different champions in less than 3 years.
Oh yeah, Cambosos.
Teofimo's tenure was short-lived, as he suffered a huge upset loss to George Cambosos,
Yep.
who in return lost all of his belts to the watchful Devin Haney.
Yeah. And shout out to Cambosos, bro, because he took that fight. He was like, all right, I'm willing to take the fight.
As it currently
So,
stands, Devin Haney is the official undisputed lightweight champion, owning all 4 of the major world titles. And in normal circumstances, the media spotlight would primarily be reserved for him. But in this era of uber-talented lightweights and the sport's obsession with marketability, even an undisputed champion can't escape the shadow placed by Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia,
yeah, these two
2
are
of the
superstars.
biggest draws in the division.
Oh, good rim, good rim. I like the way y'all jump right back in it.
Yeah.
That's right, make them jump.
Neither have ever held a world's title at the weight, but in terms of forging a super fight, no other lightweight duo has come close to doing so. And
winner of
despite
this
their
should
fight
definitely
taking
fight
place at a
Haney.
catchweight, the division will be turning its attention to their high-profile clash on April 22nd.
Sheesh. Oof. I think Haney. I
Out
think
of the
Haney
entire
beats
stock of the
Davis.
new breed of lightweights, it's Gervonta Davis who is the most seasoned, and at one point, easily the most accomplished.
Good. 253.
As a West Baltimore native, he grew up in a world of street gangs and an onslaught of gun violence.
They tried to rob him, and he tried to fight back, so they shot him. They shot him to death. They killed him right here.
Shuttled from care home to care home, an emotionless Davis watched his parents vanish as they battled drug addiction.
In Baltimore, where over 60% are African American, and violent crime and drug-related deaths have been on the rise for decades.
It would take the attentiveness of his grandmother to rescue Davis and his siblings. And not before long, the boy who'd eventually be nicknamed Tank walked into a boxing gym reserved for impoverished kids. There he met Calvin Ford, who nurtured his penchant for violence and steered him away from the trappings of gang warfare
Tank.
and drug dealing.
Love it.
The disruption of those formative years hardened Davis as he went on to enjoy a successful amateur career, becoming a 3-time national Silver Glove champion, a 2-time national junior Olympic gold medalist, and the 2012 national Golden Gloves champion.
Nice. That's accomplishments right there. That's accomplishments.
Deciding against waiting for another 3 years for the 2016 Olympics, the 18-year-old eventually turned professional and had his first bout in the paid ranks in February of 2013. 6 back-to-back knockout wins later, he signed with boxing's top talent wrangler Al Heyman and joined a star-studded stable that would later form part of a new major promotional force.
Wait, PBC boxing, right?
But it would be the affiliation with Floyd Mayweather that really elevated Gervonta's status in the sport. After being introduced to the pound-for-pound great in the summer of 2015 by Adrian Broner, the 5'5" powerhouse impressed
Really?
in sparring and was immediately signed to Mayweather Promotions.
I said, Bertain,
Adrian.
you under Mayweather Promotions. So it's
Adrian
Mayweather.
introduced him.
It would be the start of a high-profile relationship in which the young prospect would contribute with outstanding displays of punching power and highlight reel knockouts.
I love that knockout. Dude, these uppercuts, man. I'm telling you, they're nasty. They're nasty. Oh, I love that. Hesitating hook.
This young man right here,
That's
natural born superstar. But the ultimate
Mike
goal is to
Tyson
get
like
him
hook.
to surpass me.
With the correct guidance, Gervonta's star potential was becoming increasingly clear. And in January of 2017, a sudden leap in competition was thrust his way. In just his 17th fight and at 22 years of age,
That's a joke.
he was allocated the task of challenging the undefeated IBF super featherweight champion, Jose Pedraza.
Oh, okay, Jose Pedraza. I've seen him fight twice.
Where
I think.
ordinary prospects are at least given gatekeepers or former champions in preparation for such a fight, Gervonta was instead being thrown into deep waters, with some sections of the boxing public favouring Pedraza's experience over the course of 12 rounds. But much to the delight of Gervonta and his corner team, the champion adopted a strategy that played straight
lefty
into the
versus
challenger's
lefty.
hands.
Okay. All right, nice. He's just letting him bleed come through.
Taking the fight to his opponent, Pedraza made himself easy prey for the young power puncher.
Yeah, bro, it's like
who held
coming
the
in
obvious
head first.
advantage in speed and explosiveness.
He's going in head first.
And
like
after
this.
punishing blows to the midsection,
Yeah.
Tank set upon his wounded prey with superb efficiency and killer instinct.
Disgusting. This is just gross. This is just gross. Bro has his head over his foot.
Now boxing's youngest current world champion, Tank Davis.
That power is
A
nasty.
virtuoso performance that had the entire boxing world in complete awe. A world champion in only his 17th professional fight, Davis would surpass his mentor and promoter, Floyd Mayweather Jr., who won his first championship in his 18th bout.
Floyd, is this the future of boxing? Did the future just arrive?
Is this the future of boxing? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, dude, he did a great performance right there.
Oh,
here we go. We got Ryan. We got Ryan.
Keep that right hand. Oh, there we go.
Months before Gervonta's world title win, a 17-year-old Ryan Garcia began his professional journey. And in the modern era of online influencers, he quickly became a social media sensation, building an enormous fan base outside the sport of boxing.
So much. Thank you to all my fans that made this possible. We've reached 100,000 only 2 months in this game.
Such was the scope of his presence in the online sphere, it was easy to forget Garcia's real profession and his credentials as a fighter, things which his legion of fans weren't even aware of.
Ooh.
Growing up in Victorville, California, he began boxing at the age of 7, following in his father's footsteps, who had a brief stint as a professional fighter. Garcia would soon be developed into a standout amateur, amassing an impressive 215 wins out of 230 bouts. Along the way, he acquired 15 national titles,
Bro
with the
also
most
has a
notable
crazy
achievements
experience in
being
the amateur.
a silver medal in the 2014 Junior National Championships and a gold medal in the 2016 Youth National Championships. And shortly after his tournament success, the decision was made to turn professional.
Hi guys, this is Ryan Garcia, The Flash, and this is how you hit the Cobra Bag. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
His first 4 fights took place in Mexico due to a minimum age restriction in the United States. And 2 months after his 18th birthday, Garcia signed a promotional contract with Golden Boy Promotions, headed by the great Oscar de la Hoya.
Man, this guy right here, Ryan Garcia.
Big time.
Wow,
Big time.
wow.
And much like the pairing of Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather, the two shared an uncanny likeness that would draw immediate comparisons. Both were born to Mexican parents that emigrated to California.
Facts.
Both turned professional in their teens, and both carried the weighty burden of becoming crossover superstars.
I'm looking out in the crowd, Oscar, and it reminds me of when I was a young journalist and you were a young up-and-coming fighter, and I would hear all these young ladies take over the stands because Oscar were fighting. Tonight, that phenomenon is because of King Ryan Garcia.
Oscar de la Hoya,
That's
for
so
his
crazy.
part, went
That's
on
such-
to meet
that's such a
his
crazy thing.
expectations by enjoying an iconic career stretching 16 years and 11 world titles in 6 weight classes. Now, as one of the most influential promoters in the game, he possessed the experience to carve out the same journey for his latest protege. And not since the signing of another Mexican superstar in Canelo Alvarez in 2010 could Oscar have been more excited about a prospect.
But I'm glad that
I'm hoping Canelo fights David Benavidez. I really do hope for that fight because that seems like it would be a dope barn burner fight. But what I hear is he doesn't want to fight any other Mexican fighters from what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think I saw it in a video. But come on. That fight is such a money fight for him. I feel like he should fight Benavidez before he goes back trying to take over the light heavyweight or no? Before he goes back to Bivol. Because I feel like Bivol was way too good for him, or too big for him. Like Bivol was able to manhandle him kind of and push him back, keep him at bay. Didn't fall for any of his tactics where he would kind of lure him in for a counter. He would, put him against ropes, box him a little bit, stand back, and not, you know, let him get any shots off, which I feel like that was a great strategy.
People are loving Ryan Garcia. He's a very charismatic fighter. But most importantly, he can fight.
And there he goes down.
After a successful promotional debut, an impressive second-round knockout, Ryan Garcia spent the next 12 months blitzing through one opponent after another with blinding hand speed and precision.
Yeah, that's
all
nasty.
6 of his opponents were finished inside the distance in 2017, becoming ESPN's Prospect of the Year as his popularity further expanded.
Sosa, and just 2 punches, and Ryan Garcia comes away with a spectacular knockout.
And to capitalize on the growing success of his fighting stable, Oscar De La Hoya felt the timing was right to have Ryan Garcia join Canelo Alvarez and be coached by one of the most informed trainers of the game, Eddie Reynoso.
Yep.
The decision proved to be fruitful, as their first fight together resulted in an impressive first-round knockout over the hard-hitting Filipino, Romero Duno.
Ooh.
Right hand and a hook, and Duno is hurt. Duno is hurt bad. Wow, it's over. That's a superstar performance right there, Brian.
I know they had a
This
falling
was followed
out.
by another step up in competition, this time against the durable Francisco Fonseca, a former Gervonta Davis opponent, and one who'd only lost via a contentious punch to the back of the head. It was an opportunity for Garcia to showcase his abilities at a higher level and draw comparisons with other rising stars.
Oh my god, that bait was crazy. To me, that bait was
Another
crazy.
electrifying left hook would send his opponent crashing to the canvas, this time with a more frightening effect.
This was a statement fight, and all fighters out there, take a page out of the young GOAT, Ryan Garcia.
Young goat.
The 21-year-old was now proving to be a legit force in the lightweight class, as boxing observers began salivating at the prospect of him facing the other up-and-comers of the division. It then made sense that for his next bout, the Californian native was to face his first true acid test.
Ooh, I think I lost. Yeah, I definitely
By
lost.
far the best name on Garcia's resume, Luke Campbell brought with him an outstanding amateur pedigree, having won a
Bro caught him with a great hook. I mean, he came back to win the fight, but that
gold medal
Tank
at the
Davis
2012
catches you?
Olympics.
That's a
And
sleeper.
although a
You're
world's
sleep.
title in the pro ranks had so far eluded him, it was not for a lack of effort. A narrow points loss against Jorge Linares and a spirited effort against Vasily Lomachenko made the Englishman an experienced operator at world level. and Ryan Garcia
is also a
was
great
seeing
fighter
a
in
golden
that weight
opportunity
division.
for redemption.
Because I want to prove that I'm the best in the division, and I believe I'm the best in the division. And once I beat Ryan, you know, that'll prove a lot of questions.
Both men entered the ring in January of 2021 with the hopes of leaping to the next level. And after demonstrating impressive sharpness and speed in the opening round, Garcia was justifying his position as the bookies' clear favorite.
He's looking at time. That sharp. Oh, a straight right hand.
Right here. 3,
Garcia, that got Campbell's attention.
But a slight lapse in concentration in the second round saw him experience his first crisis in the professional ring.
Oh, left hand sends the kid down. And that's what he was setting him up for. Luke was looking for that overhand left.
As he soaked up the seconds to compose himself, audiences watched on in anticipation. A make-or-break moment that would reveal Garcia's real character in the face of adversity.
And he made it. He made it.
But true to his innate confidence,
Wasn't
the
it a body
youngster
shot?
quickly recovered to not only survive the round, but also to mount a sturdy response to ward off any follow-up attacks.
It was a body shot, right?
And in the subsequent rounds, Garcia doubled down on his control with superior hand speed and accuracy to deplete Campbell of any confidence he gained from the knockdown.
Yeah, bro, I feel like
And
he should
finally,
work on his head
towards the
movement.
dying seconds of the fifth round, took him out of the fight entirely with a rib-crunching left hook.
Yeah, it was a body shot. Like, the whole thing for me was like, bro, I feel like he should have stayed with the Canelo camp just so he can practice, because they have a great head movement in that camp. Like, just look at Canelo. Like, obviously you can't replicate Canelo because Canelo is Canelo or whatever. But I feel like they really could have like helped him out with that head movement. The head movement's crucial, especially if you're gonna go against like as you go up in a weight class, and you're young, and you know.
A huge statement, proving that beyond the boyish looks and a social media career was a world-class fighter with outstanding abilities in the ring. And following this sensational display, he made it clear who he was targeting next.
I really want to be a man of my word. I want to fight Tank. I know people are, worried about that one, but I'm ready for it. This fight, I showed today that I'm special. Who do you guys want? Who do you guys want? Which one? We want Tank. We want Tank. You hear them? Let's go. Let's go.
And thus began a competitive
Careful what you
rivalry
wish
between
for
the two fighters,
is what I
driven
say.
purely by the desire to outshine one another, as well as the immense rewards that awaited the victor. But reaching their lofty heights at young ages and becoming two of America's most exciting upcoming talents weren't the only similarities shared between the two hotshots. The political nature of the sport and the trappings of early success meant that both of their star-making performances would be hindered by periods of inactivity and underwhelming matchmaking. Following his stunning win over Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia was due to face Javier Fortuna in July of the same year. But just 2 weeks after the announcement of the fight, was forced to withdraw due to struggles with mental health.
Oh, yep. I remember this, and people really criticized him
And despite
for
a
this.
few tentative social media announcements declaring his return, Garcia's inactivity prolonged further after suffering a wrist injury in training, thus scuppering a planned November bout with Joseph Diaz Jr. Even the company of Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso did little to help Garcia on the comeback trail, with the Mexican superstar even questioning his commitment to the sport and his place in the gym. The boxing fans and media also followed suit, as their attention turns towards the other lightweights, making more meaningful headlines. And respectively, Gervonta Davis suffered obstacles of his own, interlaced with promotional issues and questionable opponent selection. Directly after the sensational world title victory over Pedraza, a successful defense was made in the UK against Liam Walsh. But a frustrating showdown with Francisco Fonseca, in which he would lose his world title on the scales, nudged Davis into a long path of overmatched opponents that were dispatched with ease.
Gamboa. People really criticized him for that Gamboa fight for sure, because everyone said Gamboa was really old. But I feel like he did a good performance.
Remarkably, however, his promotional team during this period carved out a lucrative niche in which he acquired a place on Showtime's pay-per-view model.
We are back here in Brooklyn, New York, a record sellout crowd on hand here at the Barclays Center as we approach our main event of the evening.
Packed out arenas and spectacular knockout performances over the likes of Leo Santa Cruz, Mario Barrios and Rolando Romero made Gervonta Davis the cash cow of the lower weight divisions. And with such a successful business model, there remained less of a need to share the stage with talents of a similar.
Yo, like Tank is like kind of like, he reminds me of like one of those like, is it a cobra where he just kind of like coils up to strike, and like you can't really, like when he coils up, like you're already like hesitant, and so you don't know what he's gonna throw. He coils up for a second, and boom, he comes at you, and it's nasty.
Standing.
One thing we do know, you is that for sure the highest paid lightweight, hands down, right? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
But considering his profession and upbringing, there still existed a fierce competitor with enormous pride. Frequent criticism, often misplaced in his direction, would be the main source of irritation for Davis, who began demanding access to more challenging opponents.
Has the time come for Tank Davis to take control of his own career?
It's my career, so I feel as though I need to be the one to control my career. Everybody don't need to, have them training wheels on them forever. It's time to, ride their own bike without training wheels.
6 lengthy years had passed since Tank was involved in an intriguing 50-50 matchup. Fears of his prime years being wasted away against unworthy opponents were reaching a boiling point.
Kind of reminds me of the Roy
And a
Jones
turbulent
Jr.
relationship
Story
with his
with his
mentor
father.
and promoter, Floyd Mayweather.
Like, I think if I remember correctly, Roy Jones Jr.'s father, like he made him fight like, was it like for the first couple years he made him fight like low underground fights, and he wasn't getting paid that much, and he was like, bro, like I want to get that lucrative fights, you know. But his dad wanted him to go throughout this, like, he tried to make a different career for him, and you know, he had a split from him, and then boom, next thing you know, Roy Jones is big. Like he, you know, becomes one of the pound for pound greatest boxers of all time.
In February of 2023.
And if he feels like he's grew wings where he can fly, become his own boss, more power to him.
With the restrictions now removed, the 28-year-old was ready to turn his attention to higher profile bouts to enhance his legacy. Being heralded as part of the so-called Four Kings era, greater levels of expectations have been specifically placed on Davis and Garcia.
Four Kings.
Their larger profiles and higher
Haney,
price tags
and
have
Davis.
created an increasingly demanding audience who feel that considering their immense talents, a bigger impact on the sport needs to be made.
I bet 20,000 on rollies. 20,000. You want to? No. Tomorrow, if you win, I pay you.
But in this fight, he's not the
The lightweight division had moved on drastically during Ryan Garcia's 15-month absence. And upon his return, the 23-year-old had some catching up to do.
Was it Usman? Yeah, he's a good
He
trainer.
began by confirming his split from Eddie Reynoso and Team Canelo, and joining forces instead with Joe Goosen.
That's disgusting.
A return bout against Emmanuel Tago in April of 2022 saw him shake off the ring rust in a 12-round victory. And then an impressive 6th-round knockout over the previously scheduled Javier Fortuna meant that Ryan Garcia was now back in the run of form.
Ryan got a little more, I guess, buffer, or like his back looks bigger. So, yeah, he put on
to
some
take
muscle.
on Gervonta Davis, who himself kept busy with a stoppage victory of his own against Hector Garcia.
I would never do
With
backflips.
both Davis and Garcia
That's
having
risking
exclusive
injury.
broadcast deals with separate providers, the negotiation process to stage a fight between the two proved to be a challenging one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But by now, there had already been 12 previous months of constant back-and-forth talks, and both men eventually took to social media to announce their clash on the 22nd of April.
I'm going to beat him, I'm going to knock him out, and that's it. We'll see you April 22nd.
This guy I keep talking about, he gonna hit me with a hook. He don't have nothing else but a hook.
Yeah.
American fight
They
fans
got
have
the hook.
long been
I think he can
yearning
beat
for a
him.
domestic super fight to give the sport the boost it desperately needs. And despite no world title being at stake, Davis versus Garcia may well be the most eagerly anticipated bout of 2023. But the coming together of two of the hottest lightweight commodities is driven by more than just fan service. Both men recognize the enormous gains to be
need to
made
get more
should
gold.
they become victorious.
I'm gonna walk you to the deep waters and I'm gonna drown you.
For
Harsh
Gervonta
words.
Davis, it will be the chance to boost his position alongside the other elite fighters of the sport.
Yep.
And with a greater pound-for-pound presence, further strengthen his status as the money man across the entirety of 3 weight divisions. And for Ryan Garcia, it's to silence the critics who've questioned his character to compete in such a tough business. A social media career, modeling contracts and numerous endorsements are but just a tiny portion of his real talents. And a dangerous fight of this magnitude will quell even his harshest of detractors.
Like, you know, it'd be cool, like, right? Like, something I was just thinking right now is, the way, because sometimes when Tank does that whole like jumping in or coil, like the whole coil thing I just mentioned, if Garcia can catch him within that beat type thing, like that'd be a cool little strategy that he can go for. Who do I know? But yeah, no, I'm excited for this fight. I really am. Like, it's gonna be an interesting, like, matchup. You know, speed versus power, uppercut versus hook, height versus, because like, and I know, yeah, like I said, Ryan Garcia is pretty tall, and I would think that he should probably use that height to his advantage, but we'll see. Yeah, can't wait.